Here, I have the executable version of the program downloaded from GitHub. I'm going to extract the contents to this folder. First thing I'm going to do inside the folder is to read the README file. Here it says, in order to use custom fonts within the program, they must be installed on your device, and the font file should be in the ERViewTool Fonts folder. I'm going to open the fonts folder within the program directory and install the fonts. Now I'll be able to use these fonts within the program. Let's go ahead and open the program. Once the program loads up, this is the first window you'll see. I'm gonna ignore all these for now and go straight into loading our images. Here in this folder, I have images of different format and sizes. You can see as I hover over them. This image right here was screen captured using Pot Player. Similarly, this one is a screenshot taken using VLC Media Player. I'm gonna select them all and click Open to load them up. Here you can see that the files are loaded in the order we selected them in. Say I want the files to be sorted by date. I'm gonna clear this and click on Open Images once again. This time I've set the sort to date in the Explorer. Now you can see the files are sorted by date, or more specifically, in the order that I selected them. Let's go back and sort them by name again. Here at the bottom, you can see a drop-down menu. For example, the VLC Player option will only look for images that were captured using VLC Media Player. It will ignore every other sequence code. Similarly, Pot Player option will look for screenshots from Pot Player, and Normal will look for sequences such as these. Since I have a mix of sequences, I'm gonna set it to Auto, which is the default, and click Load. Once everything is loaded, you can use the outliner to navigate between the images. Alternatively, you can use the control buttons. The first and last image button cycles between 3 images. If you want the usual ping-pong action, that's also possible. You can also use the left and right arrow keys on your keyboard to cycle through the images. Holding the Control key while pressing the left arrow takes you to the first image, pressing the right arrow takes you to the last image. Enabling this switch in the outliner shows the images by their sequence codes. Here you can see the sequence codes extracted from the file names are displayed. File names with no sequence codes are displayed as none. Hovering over the outliner while holding the Shift key down displays the full file name of the image. You can select a tool by left-clicking on the tool icon on the Tools panel, or by using the number keys on your keyboard. The Selection tool is primarily used to select and move text items and overlay images. It's also used to set the focus on the image, so that you can navigate using the keybinds. The Brush tool is used to draw freehand strokes on the image. Stroke colors can be selected directly from the Color Picker panel, or manually adjusted using the slider or even typed in. The Color Picker tool lets you pick a color from any of the loaded images. Drawings can be erased by using the right mouse button. In fact, any tool will act as an eraser when used with right mouse button. The Width slider controls the width of the stroke. The width can be also adjusted using the mouse wheel. The Decimate slider controls how much the stroke points are averaged. Let me show an example. Using decimation value as 0 gives a smooth curve, whereas a higher value simplifies the drawing on releasing the mouse button. Each tool has access to specific options in the modifier panel. Here, the brush tool has access to only the highlight option. The highlight option converts the brush tool into a highlighter that draws with a lower opacity. This option is useful to highlight elements on the image. The opacity in which the highlight renders on the image can be set in the Settings menu. The eraser tool lets you erase multiple elements in a radius. The radius can be set using the width slider. Setting the width of the eraser tool to max enables wipe mode. Wipe mode clears all drawings and text items on the current image. The green color in the outliner means the image has some graphic element on it. Once I use the wipe tool on the image, you can see the color change on the outliner, meaning that image now has no drawings or text on it. The line tool enables you to draw straight lines. Turning on the flat cap option in the modifiers will flatten the end caps of your line segment. Disabling will round the tips of the segment. Line tool can also utilize the highlight option. Rectangle tool lets you draw rectangular shapes. Enabling the fill option will draw a solid shape. Disabling fill draws a rectangular outline. Enabling the uniform checkbox will constrain the shape to a perfect square. Rectangle tool can also use the highlight option. The ellipse tool lets you draw elliptical shapes. This tool has similar modifier properties as the rectangle tool. End caps and highlight options can't be used with the ellipse tool. The pan tool is used to pan the image when the image size exceeds the viewport. Here I've zoomed in using Ctrl and the mouse wheel. Now, I'm using the pan tool to move the image around. One thing to note here is, zoomed view does not support display or editing of text elements. If I want to draw while in zoom and move around, I can hold down the spacebar key, which will toggle the pan tool. Letting go of the spacebar reverts back to the previous tool. You can use the Control key with the mouse wheel, or use the plus and minus keys on your keyboard to zoom in and out. Other than holding down spacebar, you can also use the middle mouse button to pan the image. You can insert text to an image using the Text Insert tool. Preferred font can be selected from the sidebar. Make sure you have the font installed on your device and the font file is located in the Fonts folder within the program directory. Using the Selection tool, I can select and move the text around. Holding down the Shift key while moving the text will constrain the text to a single axis. The size of the text can be adjusted using the scale slider at the bottom. If you want more precise adjustments, you can do so using the plus and minus buttons here. Selected text can be removed by pressing the Delete or Backspace keys on your keyboard. Pressing Shift and Enter key together will also bring up the text insert window. Pressing the Enter key will add the text onto the image. This quick text insert feature uses the previous text position to insert the text. The Text Insert tool can also utilize the highlight option in the modifiers panel. Using the text tool with the highlight option will show an alert on the top bar. Even used with highlight, text items will still be displayed in full opacity in the viewport, but will render at the set lower opacity. Note that all text items added with the highlight turned on will be displayed in yellow when hovered over it. The Reset Font Size button resets the text size to its default size. You can change the color of existing text using the Text Recolor tool. With the tool selected, just left-click on the text you wish to change the color of. Selecting a text item will copy its current font size. Since Zoom does not support text elements, they are hidden from view. The annotation button at the top hides all annotations from the viewport. Here, you can see that the image is displayed in a lower quality by default. This is done so to ensure fast navigation. Enabling the high quality feature will display the images in high quality. You can see how the quality of the image changes as I toggle the high quality button. The actual scale button displays the image in its original size and quality. Since this is a 2K image, this is how it looks on a full HD display. The zoom lock feature locks the zoom level and the pan position. When I navigate with the zoom lock turned on, you can see how the images are aligned in the viewport. The In-Queue switch controls the render queue status of an image. The grayed out color in the outliner indicates that this image will not be rendered. You can also use the right mouse button on the outliner to add or remove images from the queue. If you want to render only the current image, you can do so using the Render Current button. The Overlay feature enables a global overlay canvas. The annotations and images added to this overlay canvas will be applied to all images in the queue. The opacity of the separator layer can be controlled via the cell opacity slider. Here you can see that the drawing remains consistent. You can add images to the overlay canvas using the Image Import button. Like the text, you can reposition or scale the image to your liking. You can adjust the image opacity using the opacity slider. The rotation of the overlay image can be adjusted using the rotation slider. You can remove a selected overlay image using backspace or delete key. Setting the eraser to white mode will clear all elements on the overlay canvas. I have reloaded all the images into the program. Now I'm going to scribble through the images. I can save my current progress using the Save button here at the bottom. I'm going to save this project as Project 2. Once the project is saved, I can close the program. I have reopened the program. This time I'm going to use the Load Project button and load my project file. Here, you can see that everything is exactly as it was when I saved the project. I'm gonna go ahead and add an image in the overlay canvas. The Image Reset button will reset all changes made after importing the image. I can bring up the render settings by clicking on the Render Images button. Enabling the Render Overlay checkbox will render elements from the overlay canvas onto the image. The Trim checkbox will crop the overlay canvas to match the image size. Enabling the Sequence Code option will render the sequence code onto the image. I'm going to enable it, just to show you. Enabling Anti-Alias will render your drawings with smooth edges. Disabling will result in faster renders, but with crisp edges. Include Blanks will render images that have no annotations on it. Currently we have no blanks, so I'm gonna erase these drawings from these two images. Here you can see in the outliner that we have two blank images. Now, say I don't want to render these two images, so I'm gonna set their in-queue status to disabled using the right mouse button on the outliner, or using the in-queue switch. The JPEG quality slider controls the render quality of the JPEG images. Higher values will result in slower render times, but a better quality image with higher file size. PNG compression value controls the file size of the rendered PNG images. Higher compression value will result in smaller file size, but slower render times. Using the Pick Path button, I can specify the folder in which the rendered images will be saved. Once everything is set, click on the Render Images button to start the render process. On completion, the progress bar will turn bright green. Here you can see the output. Note that the two images we removed from the queue, and the two blank images have not been rendered. All the images have the overlay image from the overlay canvas applied. Here in the top left corner, you can see the sequence code of the image.